Good evening, and welcome to DCF Sketch. This is my third attempt to record a voiceover for this, which I guess you could just think of as practice. So, anyway, welcome to my channel. Welcome to what I'm doing. This is a little bit different take on some of the drawing videos that I'm sure you've seen. I thought maybe I could combine the drawing process as I do it with my own personal take. This isn't going to be like a lot of things you're probably expecting. I figured maybe I could just record this and see how it goes. If nothing else, maybe it'll give you something to fall asleep to. So I am DCF Sketch, and I've been studying art most of my life. I've been drawing since I was about 4 years old. But this is something new and different for me. This ability to share it on YouTube or with the world like I am right now is really interesting to me. I think we all have a story to tell, and this is how I'm sharing mine with you. Drawing is something that's really special to me. It's one of the very few things that have always just felt like mine. I like learning the process. I like seeing myself grow and change and seeing the work grow and change. I like everything about it. I first got interested in it, like I said, when I was about 4 years old. I was really into comic books. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Captain America, Spider-Man. I liked them all. Marvel, DC. I was never picky. I was never one of the ones that was all in for one or the other. I just loved it all. I like the villains. I like the heroes. I like how they play off of each other. I like the stories. I like what they inspire. I love comic books, and I hope it's a medium that sticks around forever. So yeah, comic books inspired me to start drawing. It inspired me to do other things too, like learn how to work out, lift weights. I saw Batman and Captain America, obviously Superman. They're larger than life, and I wanted to learn how to get there. I saw Batman lifting weights, Captain America lifting weights in the comics. So as soon as I could, middle school, about age 11, I started lifting weights and improved my physical health. I learned things like self-defense, picked up wrestling as a self-defense, and ended up coaching wrestling. I've coached weightlifting, I've coached soccer, I've instructed military and law enforcement personnel in wrestling, and had my wrestling picked up and added into those curriculums. So comic books have inspired me to try and help make my part of the world a little bit better, keep people safe, get myself healthy, and share it with anybody that will listen. So hopefully this will give you a little something too. Here I'm just drawing in a sketchbook. I don't even know where the sketchbook came from. I found it on my shelf. And this one I keep set aside to just do a little something more personal for myself in. Sunday nights are a great time to do that, where I can just sit in silence, tune the world out, and for 30 minutes to an hour at a time, it's just me doing a drawing for me. Chose Christopher Reeve. I get on Pinterest and I just kind of scroll at random. His picture came up and I just kind of let it connect. I connect to it, think about, how it inspires me, and try and duplicate it on paper. I don't really try to go for a one-to-one copy. I try to just kind of exercise and find my style. But you can see I kind of start by keeping it loose. I keep a loose grip on the pencil, making sure it's light and just kind of flowing from my shoulder on down. It's not just my wrist involved in drawing. It's all the way up through my shoulder. The way I'm sitting, the way I'm breathing, the way I'm looking at the subject versus when I'm looking at the paper, all that kind of plays into it. I have really had to work on slowing down, taking my time and making sure I get things in the right place. For a long time, I was having these eye dominance issues, which I know some people have. It might come from my history of head injuries. I don't really know what causes it, but if I slow down, I take my time and I really correct for it, be conscious of it, I can fix it. And it's really fun to look back and see in just a little more than 2 years how far I've come. My drawings started off the way a lot of people's do, just kind of flat and lifeless, not very dimensional. I've learned how to add that dimension to it through the use of shading and proportion and lighting, and kind of put my own spin on it. I'm still learning, and I like that. I don't really consider myself an artist. I just kind of feel like a guy that's learning the process. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a lot of fun to share it with people. I like that it connects to everyone. Everybody can do it. If you've got nothing more than a number 2 pencil and some cheap copy paper, you can draw a picture, and you can make it interesting and unique and fun. You can copy something from real life. You can make up your own character. You can make it as realistic or as abstract as you want. You can just do whatever you want. If it's in your head, you can get it on paper. I've started recently really learning about the benefits of that for your brain, how it changes the way your brain works. It changes your ability to process, to see connections where others might not, to focus you, and to even make you really a better person. You get those feelings inside out, you can express them. That's going to make you better. You can share that with the world. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just doing what I've always loved and learning how to share it with the world around me better. I think if we all take time to do that, we start realizing, we all exist on planet Earth together. And as far as we know, this is the only place in the universe where life like ours exists. And instead of fighting so much, everything is so contentious. What if we all just relaxed and did something like this together, where we shared our skills, we shared our knowledge, we didn't worry about what we looked like, we didn't worry about politics or anything else. We just came together and shared something. If everybody shared what they can do with each other, just think about how great of a place to live this would be. I think it is, and I'm inspired by it daily. So that's another reason I'm doing this, to connect to people, share what we have. Here you can see me getting a little more focused, going a little slower, slowing myself down intentionally to try and really get the shape right, especially of the eyes. If you can get the eyes down, you can pretty much set the entire rest of the face. Eyes are so challenging. When I was in high school, I had a real hard time drawing eyes and hands. So I had a teacher who gave me the assignment to draw 50 of them. And then that turned into 100 of them. And then that turned into 500 of them. And I'm pretty sure I got over 1,000 hands drawn. And that was a lot of fun. I had a giant sketchbook, and my assignment for one semester was just to fill it up. So my senior year, I got to just go off on my own, all over school, carrying my sketchbook around, sitting and just drawing. That made a lot of waves, a lot of people talking about it, like getting people talking, like, hey, what are you doing? I got to talk to people about art, because people would see me just getting to go wherever I wanted. Obviously being responsible while doing so and not getting in trouble, but just having that freedom and that autonomy, because I'd advanced to a place where I could be trusted, and it really helped. I enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed crushing that challenge. I enjoyed how it made me better, and I enjoyed seeing that the work that I could put in could produce the results that I wanted. And that was something that stuck with me the whole rest of my life. The work that we can put in to ourselves with our own two hands and grit, that can really get us places. Here I'm kind of focusing on what I think is probably the second or third hardest thing to get, and that's the nose. Some people construct those really easy, but that took me a while. I've seen some people do some really hyper-realistic stuff with just graphite, and I'm interested in that, but I really like just making something that somebody looks at and it kind of gives them that little spark. They're like, oh, I know what that is, or hey, I like that. It's unique on its own, kind of stands out. I'm not really trying to copy, one for one and do a hyper-realistic drawing. I think it's cool that some people figured out how to do that, but I also like the idea of you being able to look at this and know I did it. Or just for me to look at it and be like, yeah, that's my style. The more you draw, the more it's going to come out like your style and be unique to you, and I find that really interesting too. You're creating something that without you would otherwise not exist. And you get to leave that behind for your friends, your family. And I think that's really unique and interesting. I mentioned superheroes inspired me, and there's probably not a lot of people in the world that embody that like Christopher Reeve did. To me, he was Superman, even after his accident. In fact, I think he may have found a way to inspire people even more after he got hurt. And if you haven't seen his documentary, it's fantastic. DC Studios put out a Christopher Reeve documentary, and there have been several others over the years that kind of tell that story, where he really had to make a conscious choice that I just can't even imagine was easy for him. In fact, it details the struggles that he went through. He felt the fear, the anger, the depression, but he still found a way to overcome that and inspire, and I don't think there'd be any more Superman quality to possess than that. I've had my own fight with cancer, and thank God I've been able to overcome that. And that's really one of the things that inspired me to pick this up again, was being aware of how short our time is and how fragile our time is, and to not really waste that time. I really do believe that it's a gift, but we have to kind of create it ourselves. We can choose to waste it, but I hope we don't. I don't want to. I don't want to waste a day. I want to get the most out of every day that I possibly can. And that keep going drive, that spirit, has inspired me to start sharing more. And I thought this would be a cool way to do that. Maybe just tell a story as I draw. Maybe hopefully inspire somebody to pick up a pencil, or if you're having a hard time, you're going through something like sickness or anxiety or depression, this can help. This really helps me sort out my thoughts, my feelings. I can feel my brain grow and change as I learn something new. It can kind of open up discussions for people to have. It can motivate you, by setting a goal every day, or just an anchor point. Every day you're going to look forward to drawing. You're going to look forward to improving on what you've done, learning something new, sharing it with somebody. That can give you something to work for every single day. And when you start setting those small goals every day, it really generates that motivation and that momentum into the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And I went from not drawing for 20 years to now having a portfolio full of hundreds of drawings that wouldn't exist unless I chose to do that. So maybe if you need something to motivate you, every day you can pick up a pencil and piece of paper and just fill the paper up. You can start small. Just draw a circle and then figure out how to make that circle look a little more three-dimensional. Then draw a square. Figure out how to turn the square into a cube. Draw a cylinder. If you put all those things together, you're going to be able to draw a human body, or a face, or a hand, or a flower. You can just find shapes and everything. You can see how the light hits it, shade out the dark parts, highlight the light parts, and then all of a sudden you've got a face starting to emerge. And here you can see as I start to add the value in and understand the lights and darks, the face really starts to form. And I enjoy that. I enjoy seeing it start with this just set of lines and shapes, and as you add more to it, something starts to emerge. That's an interesting process to me. I really enjoy using as many American-made art supplies as I can. So I seek out the American-made ones. I think they're of a great quality. I like the idea of keeping things, keeping American jobs going. I'm not against, art supplies made overseas, but I do like the fact that we can help take care of the place we live first. I like the fact that American hands make things. So this is a Musgrave pencil. Those are based in Tennessee. So I ordered a big box of No. 2 pencils from there. But I also like General's pencils. I think those are great. General's charcoal pencils especially, but I have a big box of General's pencils too, and I like drawing with those. You'll notice too I didn't do much erasing. I don't really like to erase mistakes. I like for the mistakes to kind of feed the process. So if there are mistakes, I'll usually try and figure out how to work around them first. And I don't usually like to erase unless I absolutely have to, or it serves the drawing better. I've also learned that some people really like the scritchy, scratchy sound of pencil on paper. Hopefully, if that's you, this video does something for you too. It took me a while to learn how to draw mouths too. I started finding my own ways. I watched a lot of tutorial videos on YouTube, studied some art books. I just wasn't getting it though. There's a lot of stuff that just didn't really click with me until I did hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of drawings myself. And I found kind of my own ways to do it, which I also like. I like doing that. And if you're stuck somewhere or you don't like how your drawings look, just keep going. You'll get there. If I can, absolutely anybody can. Some of the books that I really like: How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. That book's about drawing comic books, but it also teaches you pretty much anything you need to know about drawing. It has all the elements and principles of design. It has perspective, it has shapes, it has lines, it has value, it has lights, darks. It's got multiple kinds of perspective. It's got storytelling. It's an incredible book. I checked it out when I was a kid in the library in my elementary school, and it's sitting on my shelf right now. So, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, great place to start. I also have the books by Loomis and the Loomis Method. I think that's a pretty great way to learn how to draw heads, especially faces, portraits. Some of my favorite artists are comic book artists. Thomas Patilli, he's got a YouTube channel on here. I suggest checking him out. Fantastic artist and illustrator. Really great human being. He's got a very warm personality. He's a great teacher. His videos are really, really good, especially if you're more intermediate or advanced in your artwork. He knows a lot about design and illustration, and he's always willing to listen, give advice. Great videos. He's even drawn something for me that I have on my shelf. Other artists that I really love: Jim Lee, probably my favorite all-time professional at the big level. He's drawn X-Men, Batman. He's drawn pretty much anything. I follow his Twitch channel. I've got a lot of his covers. I look for Jim Lee and Scott Williams first because I enjoy those. But of course, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, big names in the comic book world, obviously. Dan Jurgens, David Finch, Ryan Benjamin. Ryan Benjamin's another one I've studied a lot. He's on Proco. He's on here, YouTube. He's got an Instagram. Ryan Benjamin is fantastic. But as far as more realistic drawings like this has just been me figuring it out. And you can see I haven't really stopped to sharpen the pencil. I haven't stopped to erase. just pick up the pencil and try and make something happen. Noticing the lights, the shadows really intricately when you're studying the face. You can see the shape of the face form by where the light hits it. The parts of the face that are closer to you, like on the forehead or the cheeks, the chin, but immediately surrounding it, it's a little darker because the light doesn't hit it just the same. And that's how we see the forms around us. So really paying attention to that can really help change your drawings. Putting the lights and the darks where they go. You can squint and you kind of muddy the view, kind of mushes it all together or smears it. Or kind of like the camera, goes out of focus. And you can see where the lights and darks fall a little better that way. Or you can open your eyes even wider. You do that and you can start to see the big clear forms of the shapes, a lot more light into your eyes. And vary it back and forth. Squint, open your eyes wide, or just sit and look at it for just a minute. Really take it in. And you start to observe things a different way. Sometimes I just let the pencil go back and forth like that. And then as I observe the lights and darks, I just let the pencil lay down a little heavier and let the graphite do the walking. Like I walk around the face and fill in the lights and darks that way by varying the pressure. So if it's a lighter area, I use a lighter pressure. But if it's a darker area, I push it a little heavier. So that's about it for me for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll try to do this again.